my favourite foods to both eat and cook, Mexican food has got to be right up there. Now there's two reasons for this. The first, always got to be the taste. The second is how little there is to clean up after making your food. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making some sort of Mexican inspired chicken and rice sort of like taco bowl-y bull. It's not the best of names I've come up with for like a meal, but okay, that's what we're going for. Taco bowl-y bullshit. Now in the last video that I did, we utilised a one-pan method for this, and it's going to be the exact same thing here, where we're going to be using one pan and maybe like a couple of bowls, but that's it, alright? And if it's between that and cleaning up about 17 different pans, I know which position I'd rather be in. Right, let's go take a look at the stuff we're using.
Okay, so here we're going to be using 250 grams worth of beef mince, about half a red onion, about 150 grams worth of dry rice. It's important that this measurement is dry, and I'll explain that in a bit. Tomato puree, a beef stock cube, a bag of tortilla chips. You can use whatever brand you want. I'm just being cheap, so I'm using the Tesco ones. Taco seasoning, because it's okay to be lazy sometimes. And some cheeses. In this instance, I'm using red Leicester and cheddar because I'm fancy, so I want to use both.
Okay, so it's just time to chop shit up and just prepare, ready to... So when I said it was a one-pan thing, I kind of lied, because you do have to use 2 pans and a sieve, alright? Now the reason for that, you don't have to, right? You don't have to. But if you don't want to invoke the wrath of that one TikTok guy, you know the exact one I mean. What's the damn right? There we go, right, it's washing, it's doing a thing now, okay? So I'm going to put this onto a medium-high temperature, only because I know that I'm using an electric hob. My electric hob takes about 7,000 years to load up. Load up? My god, I've been playing far too many video games. That's why I'm putting it to 7. If you're using gas, you might want to consider putting it lower, because gas burns better, does the cook, heat exchange rate different. I'm going to be using like an old El Paso taco mix. If you want to be really anal and just start making your own taco mixes, by all means, go ahead. Nobody's stopping you. And actually, it's really fucking easy. The only reason why I picked this up is because it was a couple of pence. It was on a sale. And I thought, alright, it'll save me doing like a 2-minute job. But if you really, really want to just make your own, just chuck in some paprika, cayenne and cumin, bit of salt, onion granules, garlic granules, even a bit of marjoram and oregano, and then you're good to go, alright? Mix it up in a little bowl, kind of like this one, and then tip it in then when you've got a chance. But for all of 2 minutes worth of work, meh. Okay, now this is heated up nicely. Now we're going to do the thing first of adding some oil. Now I'm using this stuff, okay? It's just an extra virgin olive oil, 1 calorie spray thing. I don't tend to like using these things, but I'm out of actual oil, so we're going to have to utilise what I've got, basically. Now I've given it a good coating, about 15 sprays, because I fucking hate myself. Now that is nice and hot already, you can hear that standard. First thing we do, every single time, onions in. And what we'll do there is we're going to fry these off up until the point where they are translucent. Not to the point where they're burnt as fuck. So this should take about 3 to 5 minutes, if that, depending on the heat, obviously. Now the upside to this dish is that it's actually really healthy. I've got lean mince, which I'm going to be utilising. It's about 5% fat in it. I've got onions, I've got tomato puree. And probably the most unhealthy thing in this entire like meal is the stock cube, which I'm putting in, because that's full of fucking salt. Oh, and the tortilla chips, because that's just rapeseed oil. Okay, so it's starting to go translucent now. They're a lot softer than what they were earlier. I'm going to chuck the entirety of our mince in, and I'm just going to break it up as it's inside the pan. Now the nice thing about this as well is that whatever juices are inside the mince are going to release themselves into the pan, and it should then lube up the pan more. I can't think of the word to describe it, right? But it's going to get more oily, more greasy. Lube is the wrong word to use in this scenario, but I don't care, that's the one I'm going with. Honestly, I wish I had said this in the previous video now, because I could have said lubed up lasagna as like the episode title. So we're just browning the mince off, okay? It's a slightly lower temperature than what I would normally have it at, but that's okay. It just means it's going to take a little bit longer just to brown off. Okay, about 5 minutes have passed and it's pretty much all like browned off there, okay? As I've said before, I'm using this taco seasoning, alright, the old El Paso stuff. So I'm probably just going to chuck in about half of this stuff because it doesn't need a lot. I'm using half the amount of like ingredients because there's only 2 of us, and may as well use half the amount of this stuff as well. Give it a kick about. Add more if you want to, obviously. This is like a taste thing. If this is the first time that you've ever made this, use less, okay? Because you're more likely to enjoy the subtle flavours than you are to like enjoy overpowering flavours. And that's the same with anything, right? Always use less beforehand because then you can add stuff to it afterwards. You can't take it out again. So this is salt, garlic and stuff in it as well, which is why I haven't used a garlic clove in here, just because the flavour will be overpowering at that point. So we have this lovely looking thick shit over there now, okay? Now this is the point where you put your stock in together, put the water in there, give it a good old whisk around. Remember, about 375ml. I'll do my best guesstimate, that one. And then give it a quick whisk. Okay, pour that in. Quick squeeze of the old tomato puree. Quick stir. And what you're going to do now, because this is a one pan thing, is that washed rice that you had earlier, you're going to just pour it in. Alright, okay, give it a good mix in if you need to. Now the rice will about triple in like quantity here. So the measurements I gave you earlier were actually a dry quantity of stuff that you had. So it was 150 grams worth of dry rice. That should then like triple, as I've said, what, at 450? Quick math, I don't know. So you want to bring this then up to a simmer. It shouldn't take too long, to be honest, with the amount of stuff that we've got in there. Okay, now this is something which I don't actually have for this pan. You're going to want to cover it. If you don't have a cover for your pan, this is what I recommend. Just get yourself a baking tray. Fucking easy, alright? 12, 13, maybe even 15 minutes covered, so it keeps most of the moisture in. You're good to go. Okay, there's about 4 minutes left of this, but can you please remember to give it a quick kick around? The reason for this being is that everything's still cooking and you don't want it to burn at the bottom of the pan. If it burns at the bottom of the pan, it's going to make the whole thing taste like fucking shit, alright? The moment that you've given it a good kick around, chuck the thing back on top of it. Carefully you haven't got, you know, shit fingers. I can hold it. But yeah, chuck this back on top. Ow! And then wait the rest of the time. Duh. Okay, right, just as a last minute thing, make sure it's all together. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a layer of cheese on the top of it. There is significantly more cheddar than there is red Leicester in here, but that's fine. I'm just going to keep it in there for about 2 minutes. It should retain the heat, and it should melt down really, really nicely. Oh, see, that's melting down nicely. If you want to put more cheese in it, you can. That's up to you, but this is all nice and cooked. Last thing now is just presentation. Presentation is lush. Okay, now the way I'm going to present this, you can do it in a couple of different fashions. You can just chuck it in a bowl, and then have crisps or your chips, whatever, then you all dip in there, right? But I'm going to do it a little bit special so it's a bit more aesthetically pleasing because, you know, I like cooking for my partner. There's 2 things that you always have before the taste, and that's the sight and the smell. So I'm just going to chuck it into a bowl, and I'm actually going to put that bowl inside of another bowl. Alright, now the reason for that is this. You can then decorate the outside bowl as a place to put your chips and stuff. Now you don't have to do this, This is purely optional. But I think that it looks fancy. And it's that little bit of effort which I feel goes a long way to show people that, you know, you actually give a shit. And to garnish, you can even use a little bit of sour cream as well. I'm only going to put a splooge in there on the side as like an optional thing. Shove a fork just in case. Excellent. Bon appetit. There you are. An amazing meal which has got rice, onions and shit in there, okay? It's going to be delicious, okay? Let's have a quick taste. Absolutely perfect. And the salt from the tortilla chips really adds to it as well. That's why I didn't want to put a lot in there. In total, that didn't take long. Probably about 15-20 minutes tops. Longer for me because I was recording. Let's not go there. But you can see how easy shit like this is to cook. And fairly minimal mess. Now, I'm going to go eat these and enjoy my evening with my partner. And then I'll come back here and I'll do all the bits and pieces. Be like, hey man, if you like this video, bah, 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 bah. So as you can see, we've still got quite a little bit left. We made probably about double, you know, so this would have actually fed 4 of us as opposed to just the 2 of us, which is what I expected it from what I've normally done with this before. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because we can just wait for it to cool down, slap a, you know, a thing over the top of it and then chuck it in the fridge, ready to eat tomorrow for like a lunch or something. If you've enjoyed this, then please make sure that you both like and subscribe to both the video and the channel respectively. So tell me, what is the thing that you've enjoyed cooking most? And also, is there anything that you would like to see me cook on this channel for you? Let me know in the comments below. And seeing as you've got that about 15 minutes, considering all your food is currently cooking, you can go watch a couple of the clips that I've got up on the shorts part of the channel, or even check out my Twitch channel where I play a lot of single player games and also a lot of World of Warcraft. So if that's the sort of thing that you like, come over and check me out on Twitch. Link in the description below. You better do it. I'll find you. And I will cry in your general vicinity, and that would be really awkward, like a fully grown man crying. No one wants to see that. I gotta pack away now. I'm done. Oh, time to go drink an entire bottle of wine. Bye.